And welcome back to a new video with me, Rams fan YT. It's coming to a close, the end of the EFL season, and we have got so many good games. We've got the second place races in the Championship. We've got automatic promotion races as well in League 2. We've got playoff races in all three divisions, and also the relegation battle, particularly the game between Barrow and Newport, I believe it is. We've got so much to go through. As I said at the tail end of the last video, it was going to be 0-0 tonight versus Shakhtar Donetsk versus Crystal Palace. Doesn't really matter. And 1-1 between Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa in the Europa League. If you want to see my National League North-South National League playoff predictions, that is in the previous video. Some of it may be slightly inaccurate due to the midweek fixtures, but I can't be bothered to go through the revised fixtures, just being honest. So we're going to start off with Leeds United versus Burnley. Still a few more weeks to go for the Premier League, which for some reason finishes about 10 years later than the rest of the leagues. Burnley, they're relegated. They got rid of Scott Parker as a result. Feels a bit of a weird move to do it now that the season has, that now they've confirmed to be relegated. And, he is a good manager at getting teams out of the Championship. Feels a very odd move to do. I would suggest that Leeds are probably safe now. They've reached that 40-point mark, which people traditionally say is enough to stay up. But they're still only 6 points off relegation zone. I have actually, interestingly, gone with a 1-0 win to Burnley in this one. Throws questions open, throws them back into the mix. Leeds, it's what we like to see. Brentford versus West Ham. If West Ham get a point in this, then they can still confirm pretty much that they won't be in relegation zone unless Spurs win because of goal difference. Brentford have had 5 draws in the last 6 games. They could get Europa League or only 2 points off it. It's a very feasible task for the West Londoners. I have gone for, in this all-London affair, a 1-1 draw. The Hammers are beginning to pick up points at the moment, which is very important. Newcastle United versus Brighton Hove Albion. I have to say, if Newcastle loses against Brighton, I know Brighton is a decent team, but Eddie Howe has to go. How they've ended up going from challenging Champions League football, winning trophies and stuff, to being humiliated in both cups, really, and realistically are actually more likely to be relegated this season than finish top half, I would suggest, based on the current run of form. Brighton, they're 5 games unbeaten, and, I've gone 2-1 to Brighton. Another dismal display by the Magpies. Wolves versus Sunderland, bit in different form at the moment with Sunderland, and it's all around a successful season, I think we can agree. I have gone with a 0-0 draw at Molineux, but not a lot in this. Arsenal versus Fulham to round up Premier League games on Saturday. It's a must-win game for Arsenal. If they want to win the title, they need to just win every game now between here and the end of the season, as Man City will be bearing down on them. Man City are beginning to pick up form at the right time. But we're talking about Arsenal right now, and they're up against Fulham. I think it's definitely a winnable game for Arsenal, although it is a London rivalry of sorts. I've gone 2-1 to Arsenal. I changed my mind on an almost weekly basis of whether Arsenal will bottle the Champions League or not. Into the Championship, we've got Blackburn Rovers taking on Leicester City. Blackburn are now safe. They're fine. They can breathe, rest easy. Leicester, they're playing League One football next season. Seeming there's nothing right on this game, I've actually gone a 4-1 Leicester win. I think maybe a bit of their issue is that they've had so much pressure to exceed expectation, or to meet expectations rather, all season. And you know what? Now they don't have that pressure. They know what league they're going to be playing in. I think it might just release a bit of that energy. Bristol City versus Stoke City. Bristol City very mid-table, as are Stoke. I mean, neither can buy a win. I love no money at the moment. Maybe home advantage 2-0 Bristol City. But yeah, nothing really game in all honesty. Derby County versus Sheffield United. I hope that we manage to get over the line into the playoffs. I don't care what some of the commentators and stuff are saying online and saying, oh, it's too early in Derby season, we need to prepare and do better and build for next season, and then we can go. If the opportunity presents itself, you take it. You can never predict quite what's going to happen in the championship. So if we get into the playoffs, we go and throw ourselves at the playoffs, because the last thing I want us to do is have our heads held down and think, better luck next time, because that's negativity. And, we got to start as we end this season, I say. Saying that, I do suspect we do lose. Touch wood, I'm wrong, but I've gone 1-0 Sheffield United, which would be a disappointing end to the campaign. If we don't get playoffs, I'd be fine. I just want a good combative battle on the final day. You know what? If all three teams win, I'll hold my hands up and say, look, it was a great season. I said at the start of the season we'll probably get 7th. It looks like we're approximately going to get there at the end of the season. It's been a great season all round, and John Eustace, I think, deserves all the plaudits for that. Hull City versus Norwich City. Norwich in a decent run of form and Hull are not, which is slightly a blessing for Derby fans. If we want to try and... Hull aren't out the mix, although they're on a horrific run of form, they're not out the mix. I have gone for a 1-1 draw, which would see if Wrexham do lose them, re-enter the playoffs. And obviously if Derby lose as well. Or even just get a draw. Yeah, I could see this feasibly maybe being enough. We'll have to go through what the Wrexham result would be. Ipswich Town versus Queen's Park Rangers. A lot of people are focusing on the playoff race, but there is also a three-way automatic results as well, Ipswich, Millwall and Middlesbrough can all get automatically promoted on the final day of the season. Ipswich arguably have one of the easier games out of them all. Ipswich and Millwall do. Ipswich are up against Queen's Park Rangers. QPR have lost the last 3 games in a row, and you'd suspect Ipswich win this, but they've only had 1 win in the last 5 games themselves, have the Tractor Boys. And I'm going to go with another draw. I've got a 0-0 draw, which may have to see them settle for the playoffs. I suspect they do still get promoted. Millwall versus Oxford United. Going to go for a disappointment for Millwall. I just somehow think that Oxford will put on a display that they can be proud of and win 1-0. They have no reason to. I just don't see Millwall getting over the line. Portsmouth versus Birmingham City. Pompey on a decent run of form, 1 defeat in the last 6. Birmingham, a bit of an underwhelming season. A lot of people thought that they were going to be challenged for the playoffs. I personally didn't, but here we are. They're in 10th. I have gone with a 3-0 win at Fratton Park to Pompey. Preston North End versus Southampton. Southampton actually know that they're just going to get playoffs at the end of the season. Probably want to maybe rest a few players in this occasion, I would suggest. Up against Preston North End, I've gone a 2-2 draw. They are by far the most informed team going into this playoff campaign, though. Sheffield Wednesday versus West Bromwich Albion. We're going to have West Brom's season ending in misery, as I want Sheffield Wednesday to not end the season on negative points. 0 points, that'll be fine, but negative points, quite frankly, embarrassing. 3-2 to Sheffield Wednesday. 2nd win all season, but yeah, I think maybe they might just put on a good farewell to the Championship. Swansea City versus Charlton Athletic. On Swansea to win this one at home 1-0. Not a lot riding on it. The champions, Coventry City, travel to Vicarage Lane Vicarage Road up against Watford, who can't get a win for love nor money at the moment. 4 straight defeats. Haven't won a game in 6 or 7 games now, I think it is. I think Coventry might get a draw 1-1. But yeah, I can't see Watford winning this. Very, very disappointing season all around for the Hornets. Wrexham versus Middlesbrough, a game that a lot of people in the Championship will be eyeing up. I can be certain of that. I think Wrexham might beat Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough at least still have something to play for, which I think a lot of people were worried about. I've gone 2-1 to Wrexham, and I think they get into the playoffs. I don't want it to happen. I really want Derby to get in, but I'm hoping I've jinxed every team that I've backed, and therefore the reverse happens. AFC Wimbledon versus Huddersfield Town. Yeah, nothing really going into this. Wimbledon have just about confirmed their safety with their win. Was it midweek? I think it was. I've gone 1-1 in this one. It's been a great season all round, a very competitive season in League One. Barnsley versus Stockport County. There is still a slim chance that Stockport County don't get playoffs. I mean, I think realistically they do. And I've gone with a 1-1 draw, which, sees them in the playoffs. That's fine. It doesn't really matter if they finish above Bolton or not. In fact, I think it might be better to finish below Bolton because the team that they're likely to play will be in less good form than the team going into 6th, I would suggest. But talk about Bolton. If they can secure a win, they will stay in 3rd. Anything less and all sorts of things could happen. Luton, however, they're 1 point off the playoffs. They're on a fantastic run of form. I've gone Luton to win this. I think they could sneak playoffs. I've gone 2-1 to Luton Town. They're hitting form right at the right end of the season. And I wouldn't even be surprised if they managed to get like 5th because of the goal difference. So, yeah, decent enough performances by Luton in the recent weeks to might be able to cross the line. And I think Bradford might think that they're safe. I think they're going to they've eased off in the last couple of weeks. Haven't won in the last 4 games. Exeter need a win to stay up, desperately. They're 2 points off safety. I've gone with a 2-1 Exeter City win. The Gretchens might be able to clutch it in the last minute. Leyton Orient versus Burton Albion in that other relegation battle. It's a straight out shoot between 2 teams here. Burton Albion, their safety, but they've had a lot of draws, 4 draws in the last 5 games, and I'm going to go with another draw. I have gone 0-0 here, but because of the superior goal difference that Exeter have, I have actually therefore got Exeter to stay up on the last day of the season. It's nothing against Leyton Orient, although their fall off from where they were last season has been catastrophic. I just think Exeter might be able to edge it out. Mansfield Town versus Cardiff City. Cardiff are a decent enough team, nothing to play for. They'll be playing Championship football next season, which I don't think many people were surprised about. 4-1 to Cardiff over Mansfield Town. What a very routine win. Northampton Town versus Plymouth Argyle. There is a slim chance that Plymouth manage to get into the playoffs. If they win, Stevenage lose, and Luton Town don't get a win, Plymouth can also get into the playoffs. It would be quite interesting if that did happen. I mean, they're on a decent enough run of form themselves to might be able to do it. I just think Northampton get a win. I think the pressure comes to Argyle, and it's going to be 2-0 to Northampton against a team who hasn't won in literally what feels like 2 months now. Because I think Plymouth might go into this game thinking it will be an absolute walkover, and I think that might be a grave error of judgment. Peterborough United versus Doncaster Rovers. They can both content that they'll be playing League One football next season. I've gone 2-1 to Peterborough United, home advantage. There's not a lot in these 2 teams, in all honesty. I think in terms of goals, both of the statistics of goals scored and goals conceded, Peterborough are better. But in terms of points, Doncaster obviously edge out on that. Port Vale versus Lincoln City, another win for the Imps, 2-0. Not a lot to see here. They've been really impressive, Lincoln City, this season, haven't they? Reading versus Blackpool. Reading have been poor of late. And, Blackpool have actually started picking up a decent bit of form to end in mid-table. One defeat in the last 6, with all the other games being wins. And I've got another win for the Tangerines. I've gone 3-0 to Blackpool. Something certainly to build on for next season. Stevenage versus Wigan Athletic. I think Wigan managed to hit form at the right time to push themselves away from danger, but I don't think Wigan will want to be doing that again next season. Stevenage, well, they should be winning this game up against Wigan, but I just have a feeling that they won't. I've gone 2-1 to Wigan Athletic. I'm trying to figure out the maths behind that. We'll just do the last one first. Wycombe Wanderers, who are up against Rotherham United. Fairly obviously, it's going to be a Wycombe win, 2-0. I saw a link, I don't know how valid it was earlier on today, that Rotherham United are after Steve McLaren. Now, what is it, with their obsession with managers named Steve recently? It's either Steve or Paul, isn't it, with Rotherham? Is Steve McLaren any good in League Two football? I suppose we'll just have to find out. So in terms of playoffs, I think if I've done the maths correctly, I've got Luton Town to jump up to 5th, but Bradford City to stay in it because of Stevenage is a loss. I think that's how it's going to go. Last day action in League Two. A lot of people will be eyeing this one of Barrow versus Newport County. Barrow can still technically stay up. I mean, there's a lot of goal swinging involved. It would be truly magnificent if they managed to do that. We have seen mental stuff happen in League Two in the past. Remember, Bristol Rovers managed to get goal swing to get 3rd. But, a massive goal swing of 8 goals rather, would be quite something. And, well, I just can't see them doing it, in all honesty. Barrow, I think you will be playing National League football next season. I think a lot of people come to terms with it. I've got them to have a win up against Newport County, which throws a spanner into the Exiles' works. 2-0 for Barrow is what I've gone with. Probably won't be enough, though, for them to stay up. Bromley versus Walsall. Another season gone by and another Walsall bottle job. Bromley can be content that they'll be playing League One football next season. Congratulations to them. I've got a 2-2 draw in this one. Just not much in this game. Cheltenham Town versus Colchester United. Mid-table mediocrity, in all honesty. 1-0 to Colchester United. Yeah, not a lot in this game. Crawley Town versus Salford City. I fear for Crawley. I really do. I think they may have ended up really, really messing up and get relegated on the last day of the season, because the last thing we want to do is be facing a Salford City side who is 1 point off the automatic zonal vote. In all honesty, they'll need 3 in order to get automatic promoted. You don't want them on your last day of the season. You really, really don't. And I've gone 1-0 to Salford. The battle between the Red Devils, the Red Devils of Crawley and the Red Devils of the ownership, I think it is going to go the way to Salford City. Yeah, Crawley, I think you may end up playing National League football next season, which, to be fair, they've had a commendable spell in the Football League, considering where they were about 20 years ago. So let's not kid ourselves. They're a team which had far overperformed the expectations for a great number. It's probably about 15 years now, isn't it? Crewe Alexandra versus Cambridge United. Crewe can't get into the playoffs. Their 4 defeats in the last 5 games saw pay to any hopes of that. Cambridge will just be hoping to surmount enough to ward off both Salford City and Notts County. I think they probably do get a point in this. I've got 2-2 draw. It makes it interesting. But with the goal difference they have, I just think... Actually, I think Salford I've got to overtake Cambridge, therefore, to go into third. But I think going into the playoffs, I think Cambridge could do a decent enough job. Fleetwood Town versus MK Dons. Let's poop on MK Dons' promotion party with Fleetwood winning 2-1. I just don't really think anyone really particularly wants MK Dons in League One. Nothing against them. It's just, well, there's various things against them, but I just think there are so many better teams than MK Dons. Gillingham versus Shrewsbury, 18th versus 19th. Underwhelming season for both fan bases, I think. Gillingham cancelled their awards ceremony. They've been so dross. What happened to Gareth Ainsworth's 2-year plan? It seems to be firmly in the bin. I've gone 0-0 in this occasion. But yeah, Gillingham really need to have a look at what's gone wrong this season. Harrogate Town versus Barnet. Barnet can technically get into the playoffs. They'll need both Chesterfield and Swindon to lose their games and them to win theirs for them to do so. And you know what? They're on a very decent run of form, unbeaten in 6. Could feasibly happen. I've gone for them to, though, lose against Harrogate because I think Harrogate do stay up. I have gone 2-1 to Harrogate Town. They got a couple of wins in last games, and they may have just done enough to be able to see them over that dotted line. And the Sulphurites will overtake Crawley Town. Notts County versus Bristol Rovers. I've got Notts County to win this one. They're going to be well up to trying to get into the automatic promotion zone. Even though Bristol Rovers have been on fantastic run of form of late, and it is very commendable that they have done so. It's all to nothing, though. I don't know why they're on such a good run of form at the moment, because they left it for nothing, really. 4-2 to Notts County. Oldham Athletic versus Accrington Stanley. 4 straight defeat for Oldham. They'll just be hoping to avoid defeat in this one, I think. I've gone 0-0 draw. It's just a nothing game, really. Swindon Town, interestingly, are playing Chesterfield, a game which I've not seen many people online talking about how important it is. I've seen a lot of talking about, obviously, the Newport versus Barrow game. But Chesterfield versus Swindon could well be a game which decides who gets into the playoffs come the end of the season. Could Chesterfield try and play for a draw in this? I think you have to go for the win. I've unfortunately got Swindon to win 1-0. I'm hope, again, touch wood that I'm wrong. I'd love to see both Chesterfield and Derby in the playoffs. I mean, we've got Derbyshire clubs galore this season in the playoffs, if that happens. Potentially Derby, potentially Chesterfield. Then you got Buxton further down, and you had Belper and Matlock. Matlock were very disappointing, obviously. Belper United as well, and Staveley Miners Welfare. But yes, should be good for Belper if they manage to get on that slight tangent. I have rearranged, and I am now going to be in the Buxton away end in their game up against South Shields this weekend. So come on, you Bucks. Hopefully a good win for them. 1-0 to Swindon though in this one. I really hope I'm wrong. Tranmere Rovers versus Grimsby Town. Grimsby's technically aren't safe. It could be the case, but oh no, they are because of a game between Chesterfield and Swindon, right? Because they're playing each other, it doesn't matter because Swindon are the only team which can catch them, but then Swindon would also overtake Chesterfield if that was the case, and Barnet can't overtake Grimsby if that makes sense. It sounds a bit complicated, but it's not really. Tranmere Rovers been disappointing this season. And you know what? They could actually get relegated. I've just realised we're only a point above a relegation zone. I've gone 1-0 to Grimsby Town, which I think will put Tranmere 1 point above relegation zone come the end of the season. It's been poor. I think they can count themselves very lucky this season that they've not gone down. Okay, some final Premier League games. ASD Bournemouth versus Palace. It's a nothing game, really. I think a lot of people can see that. I mean, yeah, that's not quite fair because Bournemouth can reach Europe. I do apologise. I thought they were much more in mid-table, but because of their good run of form, they're actually only a point off Europa League football at the moment. Ariola's done a decent enough job with them. A very solid performance. I've gone a 0-0 draw in this one, making it, it would have been their 5th draw in 7 games for the Cherries. Man United versus Liverpool. I've gone Liverpool to win big in this traditionally huge game. 3-0 to Liverpool, making it 4 wins in a row. I think Arne Slot can probably consider his team getting Champions League football next season. I just think it's been quite underwhelming compared to where they were last season. Aston Villa versus Tottenham Hotspur. Come on, Villa. Do what everyone in the division wants you to do and put a bit of stuffing into Spurs. I've gone 2-0 Aston Villa. Chelsea versus Forest. Annoyingly, Forest on a decent run of form, and Chelsea have lost 5 in a row. Liam Rosenior deservedly binned. I thought he was a good manager, but just don't think it was the right fit for Chelsea, in all honesty. I have gone with a 1-1 draw in this one, which takes Nottingham Forest about what they call the 40-point mark of getting survival. And finally, Everton versus Man City. I think we can all agree it's going to be a Man City 2-0 win. It'll be interesting to see if which one of them two teams could slip up. Brewers on tour, hi. Congratulations, Burton, on staying up. Rika, hi. Hoosier Sport, as a clue's in the name, Derby County. But I also support all teams who are from Derbyshire as well, and I go around a lot of non-league teams based currently in the northeast of England. So yeah, got a lot of non-league grounds I've been around, and tend to support Derbyshire teams when they're away up here. But yes, my real passion is Derby. I just don't often get to see them enough. Anyway, if you're on around here, do subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video, which I will do some Premier League predictions. But I might collate them all into one at some point. We'll have to see. And I'll also have the end of season review, looking at all my predictions. And I think there will be a promotions and relegations, which may be slightly longer than the one I did last time.